At the National Assembly today, the revised special bill on a new investigation into the 2022 Itaewon crowd crush tragedy was passed following a bipartisan agreement. But conflict remains over approval of a bill to investigate a Marine's death, which was unilaterally approved by the opposition. Our correspondent Shin Ha-young has this report.
Lawmakers at a plenary session of the National Assembly approved on Thursday a revised special bill for a new investigation into the 2022 Itaewon crowd crush disaster. It passed with 256 votes for, none against, and 3 abstentions.
I hope that through this bill, the truth about the Itaewon crowd crush will be investigated, its causes identified, and strong measures will be created to prevent similar incidents, making our society safer.
The opposition-controlled assembly passed a previous special bill regarding the Itaewon disaster in January, but was then vetoed by President Yoon Suk-yeol later in the month. Now, about 3 months since the bill was sent back to the National Assembly for a revote, the two main political parties agreed on Wednesday to add revisions to the bill. Before Thursday's vote, the chief deputy floor leaders of the ruling People Power Party and the main opposition Democratic Party held a joint press conference where they announced their agreement on a revision forming an investigative committee, its operational period, and methodology. The same day, the presidential office welcomed the agreement, saying they considered it a tangible outcome of cooperation between the parties, which began with a meeting between President Yoon and main opposition leader Lee Jae-myung on Monday. Under the revision, the number of committee members will be reduced to 9 from 11. The chair of the investigative committee will be chosen through consultations between the rival parties, while each will recommend 4 members for the 8 remaining positions. The committee will not be allowed to request warrants, and it will operate for 1 year, although the term can be extended by up to 3 months. Meanwhile, the opposition-led assembly unilaterally passed a motion calling for a special counsel's investigation into the death of a Marine who was killed last July during a search and rescue mission for victims of flooding. The rival parties had failed to narrow their differences on this bill before Thursday's plenary session. Lawmakers of the PPP walked out in protest and boycotted the vote. The PPP has argued that an independent probe is unnecessary as the Corruption Investigation Office for high-ranking officials is currently looking into the case. Meanwhile, responding to the passage of this bill, the PPP's floor leader Yoon Jae-woo criticized the DP's swift handling of it, calling this reckless legislative behavior and stating he would advise President Yoon to exercise his veto power. Shin Ha-young, Arirang News.